Welcome to HFY Beyond Terra, where humanity doesn't just survive, it becomes the galaxy's biggest surprise. Subscribe, and let's go beyond Terra.
Night on Karun Plain was never truly dark. 3 moons hung low and pale, staining the grasslands silver and blue. The wind carried the scent of ash, old rain, and fear that bled through the soil itself after the long war between claw and steel. The Varkesh pack moved without sound. 36 bodies flowed over the plain like living shadows, massive, furred, 6-limbed hunters whose eyes glowed faint amber in moonlight. Their breath steamed, their claws flexed, their hearts beat with a single purpose: blood. The scent was undeniable now, fresh, human. The pack fanned outward as they approached the shattered outpost, ruined metal ribs jutting from the earth like bones from a corpse. This place had once been a human listening post, abandoned after the treaty that failed. The Varkesh remembered it as a killing ground. Their dead still lay unburied beneath the soil. A low growl rippled through the pack. At the front moved Rieger the Alpha, his scarred muzzle lifted, tasting the air. He smelled the human, one alone and something else beneath it. Milk. Rieger halted. The pack froze instantly, every warrior awaiting his signal. Milk meant young. Varkesh cubs had been taken before. Humans did that, studied them, cut them open, returned their bodies cold and wrong. Rieger's lips curled, exposing fangs the length of daggers. If a human has touched our young, he thought, there will be no mercy. He advanced. The human sat against a broken wall inside the outpost, unaware of the death closing in. His name was Elias Ward, though no one had spoken it aloud in weeks. His rifle lay disassembled at his feet, its power cell removed and set aside deliberately. His armor had been stripped down to a torn undersuit. Blood stained one sleeve, long since dried. His skin was pale with exhaustion. On his chest lay 2 Varkesh cubs. They were tiny by the pack's standards, no larger than human infants. Their fur was still soft and downy, their claws translucent and dull. Their breathing was slow, even. One cub's ear twitched as it dreamed. Elias did not move, every muscle in his body screamed. His arms had gone numb hours ago. If he shifted even slightly, he might wake them, and he did not know what would happen then. He only knew what had already happened. Hours earlier, the cubs had found him first. Elias had been scavenging inside the ruins when he heard the sound, thin, reedy cries echoing through twisted metal. At first he thought it was wind, then he recognized the rhythm. Pain. He followed it despite his training, despite the warnings burned into every human soldier since childhood: never approach Varkesh young. The cubs were trapped. A collapsed beam pinned one of them, its hind limb bent at a wrong angle. The other circled helplessly, crying out into the empty night. Elias froze when he saw them. A fear rooted him in place. He knew the pack would return, knew what they would do if they found him there. But the injured cub cried again, sharp, desperate, fading. Elias swore softly. He dropped his weapon. Slowly, visibly, he stepped forward. The cub snapped at him, all instinct and terror, but its teeth barely pierced skin. Elias winced, then kept moving. It took him nearly an hour to lever the beam free using scavenged metal and brute desperation. The cub screamed once, then went silent as Elias wrapped the limb in strips torn from his own clothing. He had no medicine, only warmth. When the cub finally stopped trembling, it crawled onto his chest. The second cub followed, and there they stayed. The pack in circles. Rieger stepped into the ruined chamber. Amber eyes reflected off metal and stone as the pack filled every entrance, every shadow. The air thickened with restrained violence. The human looked up. Elias' heart nearly stopped. He did not reach for his weapon. He did not move at all. His hands remained open at his sides, palms exposed, a gesture he barely remembered learning, something ancient and instinctive. The cubs slept on. A warrior at Rieger's side snarled, hackles rising. "Kill him," the pack demanded without words. Rieger did not move, his gaze fixed on the cubs. They were unharmed, warm, alive. One cub's injured leg was wrapped in strange fabric, clumsily but carefully bound. The scent of human blood clung to it, not predatory, not cruel, but offered. Rieger felt something fracture inside his chest. Memory surged of his own cubs long dead, taken during the war, of screams echoing across burning plains, of humans who never hesitated. This one had hesitated. The Alpha took a single step forward. Elias swallowed hard. "I didn't hurt them," he whispered, voice barely sound. He did not know if the Varkesh could understand him. "I swear." Rieger lowered his massive head until his breath stirred the cub's fur. They did not wake. They trusted the warmth beneath them. The Alpha's claws dug into the stone floor. This was not how prey behaved. Judgment. Rieger lifted his head and released a low, resonant call, one that echoed across the plain and into the bones of every pack member. "Stand down." The warriors stiffened in shock. The human scent was re-evaluated, not as enemy, not as prey, but as something unknown. Rieger approached fully now, each step heavy with consequence. He extended one claw and gently touched the bandaged limb. The cub stirred but did not cry. Rieger exhaled. The decision tore at him like an old wound reopening, but he was Alpha not only of strength, he was Alpha of survival. Killing this human would teach nothing. Letting him live would teach something else entirely. Rieger backed away. He raised his head and spoke, a deep, thunderous sound that resonated through the chamber, not words but meaning carried in tone and gesture. "This human is under my mark." No Varkesh challenged him. Morning, when the sun rose, pale and red over Karun Plain, Elias woke alone. The cubs were gone, so was the pack, but beside him lay something he had never seen before. A single Varkesh fang, longer than his hand, polished smooth. A gift, a promise. Elias laughed weakly, then cried, then held the fang to his chest. Far away on a ridge overlooking the plain, Rieger watched the humans stumble back toward the horizon. The Alpha turned away. War would come again someday. But now there was something new, memory and mercy.